Don't add black bars to your videos. Am I saying that you can't use a 2.35:1 aspect ratio? No. What I'm saying is that if you want a project, a video, or a segment of a video to be in a widescreen aspect ratio, that's not something you create in the editing room. You have to shoot for the aspect ratio. Depending on the camera, that could mean capturing in that aspect ratio, using the full 16:9 sensor with aspect ratio guides and framing for them, or if your camera doesn't have any frame guides, you could use some tape to create your own frame guides. But don't frame for 16:9 while shooting and then add cinematic black bars in the edit. Your framing will be off, and even if you do some vertical reframing in post, you're cutting away footage that you intended to be in the shot when framing. I feel it's often quite easy to tell when someone's done this, and especially if it's a medium to close-up of a face. The framing just feels off, like it's crammed in there. The subject might be getting a weird haircut, cut off the chin, or just simply being framed a bit unintentional. Sometimes I want to scroll up on YouTube, thinking I accidentally scrolled down a bit and cut the top of the video, only to realize that it is the whole frame. And that brings me to my second point. Don't add black bars to get to your aspect ratio. Instead, change the aspect ratio of the project or timeline. Sure, if you have a whole video in 16:9, there's one small segment that is intended to be in a wider aspect ratio, then crop it or add black bars within that 16:9 timeline. But if the whole video is in a aspect ratio of 2.35:1, then set your project to that. This way your exported file is in your chosen aspect ratio, and your file size will also be a little bit smaller since you're now removing that black area at the top and bottom that is roughly 20% of the pixels. If you upload this file to YouTube, it will be displayed in the correct aspect ratio. So if someone's watching your video on a 21:9 monitor, they won't be getting black bars on top and bottom as well as left and right. On a 16:9 monitor, a file that is exported in a wider aspect ratio and one that is in 16:9 with black bars will look the same in full screen mode. The black on top and bottom will either be there because the video isn't tall enough to fill the whole screen, or because the black bars are burnt into the 16:9 video file. But it's totally different when viewing on any other monitor, such as an ultra-wide screen or on a smartphone with a tall screen, which turns into a pretty wide screen in landscape mode. If you have a normal 16:9 video displayed on a 21:9 monitor, it will look like this. You'll get empty space on the sides since the monitor is wider than the video. So what happens if we add black bars to the original video file? Well, the video being played is still a 16:9 video file, so you get the same empty space on the sides, but now also the black bars at the top and bottom. We got a lot of unused screen real estate here. If the video is exported in 21:9, for example, then it would instead look like this. It would fill the screen since the aspect ratios match. And if the video was in 2:1, for example, it would look like this. We would still be using more of the screen compared to a 16:9 video with black bars. There is one argument for exporting in 16:9 with black bars though, and that is if you want to add end screens on YouTube. Currently YouTube doesn't support end screens on videos with ultra-wide aspect ratios, unfortunately. It does support 2:1 however, so this shows that 16:9 isn't the only aspect ratio supported anymore, and hopefully it will be available on all aspect ratios in the future. So if the video is going up on YouTube and you really need end screens, then currently you can blame YouTube for the incorrect aspect ratio. But otherwise, export it in the correct aspect ratio. But that pretty much wraps it up for this video. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see some more, and I'll see you next time.